Pakistan has been asked to do the same. The Atari border in Punjab, the only permitted route for India-Pakistan trade, has been sealed. Pakistan has said that any attempt to stop or divert flow water belonging to Pakistan as per Indus Waters Treaty will be considered as an act of war. Pakistan also responded with a slew of retaliatory measures. It has revoked all trade-related activities. The country will also close down the Waghmar border with immediate effect. All bilateral agreements have been put in abeyance, including the Shimla Peace Agreement signed more than 5 decades ago. Islamabad has also closed its airspace to Indian airline companies. Joining us right now is Burzine Waghmar from University of London. Also joining us is Manjeet Kriplani, Executive Director at the Gateway House. Burzine, if I could begin with you, do you feel Pakistan, with the manner in which it has supported these terror groups, has isolated itself around the world? Just look at the optics, the manner in which this attack was carried out. Just as General Dua pointed out a short while back, you have taken a cue from the manner in which the Hamas had attacked Israeli civilians long back. And you attacked civilians, you have killed them at point-blank range. So clearly, the public opinion is against them.
The historian in me, Parikshat, would like to commence by harking back to Operation Pahalgam in 2002, when tensions were this high as they are now. Then in 2002, Pakistan was deemed a non-NATO ally and frontline state in the war on terror. Its importance has considerably diminished, not to mention it disgraced itself with Osama being discovered in 2011 in Pakistan. So things have changed and much water has flowed under the bridge. What has not changed is that Pakistan continues to be a rogue state in that it does not care for the consequences and fallout insofar as reputational costs go in the international arena. It has always factored that in and felt it can ride it out. It did so back in 2002 with the Kalujak massacre and prior to that, the Parliament attack and the Red Fort attack in 2000, if you remember too, plus the Akshardham Temple attack in September 2002. And every time it does so because of the nuclear umbrella. And pursuant to Operation Pahalgam, as you know, Indian planners had taken a major departure step. It was a watershed moment in that they had to come to realize that one will have to fight with Pakistan despite the nuclear umbrella. Conventional warfare must be conducted under the shadow of it, which led to the origins of the cold start doctrine propounded by the Indian forces, as you know. So even if Pakistan importance is not there currently, and it's reeling under one-too-many crises, it does feel the urge to keep itself in business by running such proxies to keep India on the trot. What has happened is India has called it game, set, and match, as you know, and the Indus Waters Treaty is a new step. It's a novel step, but it also builds on the 2016 terrorist attack, pursuant to which data sharing as per the IWT, Indus Waters Treaty, had been considerably curtailed. And the Pakistanis had been complaining since 2016 that only 40% of data sharing has been happening. But I'll stop here for now, and then we can come back to it later.
All right. Manjeet Kriplani, thank you so much for joining us as well. Let me ask you about the impact that Pakistan wanted. It wanted to bring back the Kashmir dispute. It calls it a Kashmir dispute, and they wanted to bring it back from their perspective on the international arena. They wanted to instill fear in the minds of Kashmiris that the Pakistani army, Pakistani terrorists still are a force to reckon with in Kashmir. Do you feel that the Indian government, while retaliating militarily, diplomatically, will have to address this at the ground level going forward?
I think definitely they have to address it. But one or two things that we need to do, which we have not done so far, is two things. The Indus Water Treaty, putting it in abeyance, is long overdue. So we need to start doing what we plan to do, which is building all the 10,000 megawatts of hydroelectric projects. Because although people think that Pakistan is the sufferer here, actually India gets only 30% of the water of the Indus from this treaty. Pakistan gets 70%. Secondly, we have not imposed sanctions on Pakistan at all. I mean, this is something, our regulations are woefully out of date. We have a 1967 regulation, which is the Unlawful Public Activities Act, which we're using for dealing with terrorism. We don't have any updated sanctions acts, which is what the US and USS CATSA and the UK and Germany, they all have updated sanctions laws. We need to start using this very aggressively. So once we use the economic tools that we need to develop, then we can start thinking about the military tools. The last thing is financially, we have to get Pakistan back on this particular incident, means that Pakistan has to get back onto the FATF. Clearly, the resistance force, which has taken responsibility for this attack, is loosely linked to the Lashkar, which means that they've got funding from somewhere. And maybe even if it's local funding, we have to get to the bottom of it. You always have to follow the money. Then you can do whatever you need to do militarily, but you have to strangle them economically.
Right. Manjeet Kripalani, do you also believe, and this is what one of our panelists said yesterday, is that do you have a consistent Pakistan policy? Do you feel it's time that our doctrine on Pakistan gets very, very clear? There are no changes in it, whether it's water sharing, whether it's economic relations, or whether it's use of airspace, nothing changes and it remains as it is?
That's very hard for us to do, Parikshit. It is our neighbor. We're in this strange situation that really very few countries are in, where we have an actual hostile neighbor to our north. One is Pakistan on our west, and the other one is China to our north. Now we've got Bangladesh, a problem with Bangladesh to our right, which I hope will get resolved. But it's very hard for us to have, draw hard lines. This is not the Soviet Union where you can divide an iron curtain. It's just not that era. So we have to use, I feel we have to use all the economic tools first to really strangle Pakistan. And also we need to step up our diplomatic and our public relations on Pakistan. Pakistanis have superb public relations and we have none. So we can think we're a big country, we can manage, but we can't. We have to use these tools to the best of our ability. And, then we'll have a proper doctrine. It shouldn't only be military.
Burzine, just to get you in at this stage, as Manjeet Kripalani was pointing out, you need a very strong diplomatic and PR machinery to continue exposing Pakistan at every stage. But currently, on the issue of economic sanctions that Manjeet pointed out, do you feel it's important for India to work with countries like US, other P5 nations, to see if sanctions can be imposed on Pakistan? We have very close linkages with the United States. Can we convince, according to you, the United States to impose sanctions on Pakistan? After all, their vice president was in the country when this terror attack was unfolding.
India should capitalize on that. Your interlocutor in Bombay has quite rightly laid out the facts, and that India has a Trump administration in place, the current dispensation, which is particularly favored to India, which has never been seen hitherto in so many decades. Consider just the Thakur Rana's arrival in India, which would have been unthinkable otherwise in yesteryears. India should capitalize and build on it. And as the lady mentioned, that also India has never had a robust PR policy. The entire thinking in South Bloc, insofar as Pakistan is concerned, is not to give it the oxygen of attention and PR, and somehow the matter would die a natural death, and that you can just ignore it by the wayside. But you see, this goes back to also what I've mentioned, that Pakistan is active enough to conduct these atrocities over and over again, because reputational costs don't matter to it. Just like Iran and what Iran does in the Middle East, reputational costs don't matter to it. It feels it can ride it out and get away with it because of the nuclear umbrella and because of the fact that it's considered a keystone state in a geostrategic region, and that the Western powers may be averse to coming down hard on it because of the terrorism factor. It has played that. You can only play that card for so long. But now, of course, India can act on this. And even on flights, I mean, Air India is pretty inured to it. All it does is just exit out of the west coast of Gujarat, and flights can continue to the west. So there's no problem in it. The Indians have enough experience on these matters for flights going to the...
We've completely run out of time, but thank you. Okay, we've completely run out of time, Burzine. I'll have to leave it there for the moment. But thank you very much to you and Manjeet Kriplani for joining us in the program. This is a story that we'll continue tracking very closely here on CNBC TV 18. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Global Eye. Thank you for watching. News continues on the other side.